Jordan Spieth has another tough act to follow at the Australian Open. Spieth won the tournament in 2014 in his first appearance down under when it was played at the Australian Golf Club in Sydney. He won it again in 2016 in a playoff at Royal Sydney, a year after, finishing tied for second with Adam Scott and a shot behind winner Matt Jones at the Australian. Beginning Thursday at the Australian, Spieth will attempt to make it 3 Australian Open titles in 4 appearances. Jason Day, playing back home in Australia for the first time in 4 years, is his major opponent. Spieth won the Masters and US Open in 2015 and Day won the PGA Championship. Both players were also within one shot of a 3-man playoff in the British Open that year. They are playing together in Australia for the first time. The 2015 season was a lot of fun, Spieth recalled Wednesday. The last 3 majors of the year, we both had a chance to win on Championship Sunday. That's rare to have a few times in a row, especially 2 people to have the chance. Spieth will look to win his 3rd Stonehaven Cup without caddy Michael Grelier, who has been on the bag in all 14 of the Texans' professional wins, including 3 majors. Grelier has decided to stay in the U.S. with his wife Ellie after the October 13th birth of their son, Barrett. Spieth's longtime coach, Australian Cameron McCormick, will be his caddy for the tournament. Scott will be missing his national championship for the first time in a decade. There were some communications and discussions had and unfortunately we couldn't reach an agreement with Adam, tournament director Trevor Hurton said. Australian fans will get to see Scott at next week's Australian PGA Championship at Royal Pines on the Gold Coast in Queensland. Masters champions Sergio Garcia and Mark Leishman are also playing at the PGA. After Day and Spieth, the Australian Open field becomes very thin. It has only 2 other distant major winners: 2006 U.S. Open winner Jeff Ogilvy and 2003 Masters champion Mike Weir, along with a host of veteran and younger Australians. It's a disappointing situation when Adam Scott's not playing the Australian Open, Ogilvy said. You can find blame or whatever, but we've got a pretty good field. Most golf tournaments would fall over themselves to get Jordan and Jason in their field, so that's pretty good. Day, a former number 1 who has slipped to 12th after going winless in 18 months, will play with Ogilvy and Rod Pampling in a morning start Thursday. Day has packed on some weight. He is about 9 kilograms 20 pounds heavier than he was at the start of this year. Unfortunately, I think I was doing the wrong things in the gym, Day said. I got a little too big in the upper body and it restricted my swing turn. Spieth will join Jones, who has played as a member at the Australian since he was 15, and fellow Australian Cameron Smith in an early afternoon group. Smith was among the 3-man playoff last year at Royal Sydney when Spieth won his 2nd title. To get into the playoff and be so close, not a good feeling, Smith said Wednesday. I had a bit of a heavy heart for a few weeks. Notes the Australian Open is the first of 15 qualifying tournament in 10 countries for next July's British Open at Carnoustie. The leading 3 players in Sydney among the top 10 and ties and who are not already exempt will qualify for the Open. Spieth played in Wednesday's Pro-Am with former Australian cricket captain Ricky Ponting, and was impressed. Ricky was awesome. He has a really solid game. You can tell he's a scratch player just by when he sets up and hits one shot. Day played with 2-time Grand Slam singles tennis champion Lleyton Hewitt. Lleyton had an amazing bunker shot on the last hole, ended up holing it for birdie. It was kind of crazy to see the old come on.